Okay, my name is Brian Johnson, and the SEPTA is a big part of the city of Philadelphia, helping us get around. But the problem is they are seriously underfunded. The fares they collect do not cover their operation costs, and any improvements between links between stations or the stations themselves have to come through private development. And through private development and the amount of people that go through SEPTA, you can actually draw a lot of people into your site if it's done well.
That was the first 30 seconds. How does everybody feel? Go on? Go.
Okay, for this presentation, I'm going for a more focused look at, or it's more focused case study at 15th and Market, which is probably one of the most traversed sections or links in Philadelphia for SEPTA between Market Frankford and Regional Rail. And as you can see, SEPTA ridership has been climbing steadily over the years, but their budget has been all over the place. It's basically secured by these last-minute deals that always fall through later on, and they're always constantly searching for money. As you can see, their entire network is just falling into disrepair. So they're unable to even keep up things. So this is the existing conditions. You have a whole network of connections in here that need to be dealt with. I'm focusing on the space underneath 2 and 3 Penn Center, which currently is it's kind of a dark labyrinth of sorts where there's a lot of vacant spaces and very little activity overall. It's just not the most efficient link, and it's just not exciting. So I'm looking to create a space that also connects to the street level as well, which actually is a major connection for buses in the city. And I'm also looking to create a lot of green space that helps bring in fresh air and everything like that for the residents and occupants and visitors to the site, and just really provide a huge amenity that's not currently there with the planners, and also create a huge connection to the renovations to Dilworth Plaza. And looking at the proposals, you can create a stronger link underground than what's currently there, and actually use the center area, which is connected to the building above, which currently is lacking in the current scheme. So creating a stronger link into the building brings people through SEPTA instead of having to walk outside. They don't traverse the edge of the site, and they actually get engaged into the site, as well as creating a strong link between the two SEPTA networks. On the ground floor, creating outdoor amphitheater, creating an interior plaza that spills out into this outdoor plaza, creating strong connection to the Dilworth Plaza renovations, which are actually privately funded by Center City District, not SEPTA, but for the most part. And then also creating a strong link through the site, which is really, that's what the site is currently used as a link. So bringing in multiple programmatic elements to help bring people or keep people on site, will keep people engaged with the site and bring a lot of business to like restaurants and retail shops on the ground and in the concourse level, which really brings life to this neighborhood, which the Market West corridor sorely lacks right now, which is hotels and office buildings. And then you can see here, I have a study of what's currently at the site. It's a link with a little bit of smoking. That's it. No one sits on site. So creating reasons to stay on site with this outdoor plaza, this amphitheater, create impromptu community shows, things like that that will really keep people or bring people to the site instead of just making them pass through and forget about it. Also creating stronger links through the building and bring people up. And then kind of just looking at the current space on the first floor outside. You have creating a much stronger connection down to the concourses underneath, integrating the bus stops, kind of pulling towards the links, or to the stairs to underneath, and then also providing ADA access, which is currently lacking in many SEPTA stations. And then also just looking at how the lobbies of buildings can be integrated into these concourses. You have the escalators up, coming into this lobby with the great public art display, kind of encouraging people to explore the building, explore the site, and be similar to like what you have at the Comcast Center, where you have that huge that huge display, which really draws a lot of people, and especially when they do their holiday shows. That's just some sources I pulled some pictures from and some info. So.
I would first ask, I was a little confused in terms of your existing conditions to your proposed development in terms of demolition. Seemed like you were getting rid of both of those skyscrapers. Was that the case, or?
Yes, I actually did initial studies back when this is actually just rehash or it's kind of part of my thesis. So in thesis, they say over 50% of your project has to be new construction. So I actually did look into keeping those buildings on site and looking at their floor to floors and seeing how to fit mechanical systems into it. And the current like floor to ceiling in many cases is 7'9", and then there's it's probably about 2 feet at most from mechanical equipment above. So it's just not conducive to really keep it as a viable office space on
Yeah, so
premise.
I think from a development standpoint, you really want to highlight the fact that those are outdated buildings. They're no longer, say, Class A office space and at a prime location in the city. You really want a premier building like Comcast that you referenced, which I think was the right reference to that image, by the way. So I just, again, in the terms of this pitch, I would have highlighted that this is a requirement to make the space what it really needs to be for your development to work. Because demolition can be a scary thing for people to do because it costs so much money. But if it's the right move for this pitch, then really, I say go forward.
Okay. Let's try to make it a little broader, though.
Did we see a picture of what is there now at all?
There's some sprinkled through in there.
They're kind of off to the corners and
Yes, I mean a clear,
I tried to give it a little bit with like the
of existing conditions at the beginning to show what the extent of getting rid of, what's there and what you're replacing it with.
I mean, the one underground concourse, the part that was highlighted in blue was what I was focusing on most, and all that was being demolished.
But I'm kind of sitting here, I mean, I live downtown, but I'm still like, wait a minute, where's the Suburban Station? And there's City Hall, and I'm kind of I'm trying to picture what's getting torn down instead of this being, I don't want to be distracted by me trying to figure out where I'm at and what you're doing. I'm missing what you're saying by me doing that. So having that kind of clear thing at the beginning would be very helpful. How much square footage does your building have?
I mean, that building was, I mean, that's not necessarily for, it's a little flexible, and for the, my project, it was approximately 1.2 million. It was split, majority of it was office space, about 60%, and then about 25–30% was hotel space, and then the remaining square footage was residential above the 2.
So I think that, at least for this, it's a great project. I think it's really well put together, and renderings are very enticing, and is such a part of the city that is in dire need of some rejuvenation, and Dilworth and everything's coming around. But I think with a project this size, it's a $500 million project, and it's an immense project, and it's you have to when you were pitching condos and you're pitching a hotel. At this point in time, you have to understand the market, what those markets are, and it's just a couple hours of research to say, there's hotels that are struggling, and there's condo markets that are trashed, and there's and things are turning to rentals, and what's the kind of state of the retail space. When you kind of have that at the beginning, especially to developers who have to live and breathe essentially, understanding that kind of economics at the very beginning, it doesn't have to, you don't have to be an expert on it, but having those kind of numbers is what immediately we're thinking of as developers, is the numbers. It's just the numbers and numbers and numbers. Is it going to work? How much does it cost? How much is it going to fill up? Is it going to be empty? Is this going to be a huge sink? Is it, what's it going to do? So I think those are kind of important. And I guess the other thought is it's still almost like the last project. It remains, even though you showed really nice diagrams at the beginning, it remains a bit of an island. After you kind of showed us what your project is about, showing how it reconnects back to the city, like the surrounding city, how it actually connects to Suburban Station and what it does to City Hall and Dilworth and everything like that, would be at the end bring it all back together and to let us say, oh, okay, now it fits into the city and it's not this other project, it's part of the fabric.
Okay.
stole some of my data
Sorry.
questions, but
Can't help it.
well, no, that's fine. I think I would. It was nicely done. I think I would have benefited from just a very clear explanation at the beginning that maybe I don't know what it is. This is a high-rise development, transit-oriented development. Whatever it is, I was sort of thinking that it was an infrastructure project at first. And then it seemed like, then all of a sudden it was a mixed-use, large-scale project. So I think just some clarity at the beginning would really be helpful. And then the other thing is I think you have nice renderings in there, but they're hard to pick out, it seems like, the other stuff going on behind the slides. So just maybe some focus on adding some additional white space to your slides or breathing space to your slides, just so you can parse out the pieces a little more would be helpful.
Gotta dumb it down.
Dumb it down.
Forgot, just the pretty images and the numbers.
There's a lot to be said for the clarity and simplicity of the presentation, no matter who you're presenting to, whether it's a community organization or a group of architects. It's that simplification of the kind of magic, that image, that powerful single image that just sells the whole thing. Can get you so much more mileage than all the flashy stuff kind of all layered and put together. So it does make a big difference.
All right. Great.
Great job.
Thank you.